Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today, answering your questions regarding Friendly Challenge and the new spells and troops in Clash of Clans. Basically update questions. Before I get into those questions, I do want to give a shout out to three of my Patreon clans. A lot of people ask me for good suggestions of clans to join other than my own Alliance clans, and I can genuinely suggest Heisenberglers, Talladega Knights, and Said She Was Level 18. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight three of their clan raids as well as their clan banner to start out this episode. Now let's hop right into those questions. Oh, and by the way, I should mention all of these questions came from the Clash of Clans forums. The forums are a great community. There is a lot of spam and there is some negativity, but if you can weed through that, there's a lot of really solid people there. I really highly recommend you guys check it out. So here are the questions that were asked in the thread that I posted about the update. So Dave and his army has a lot of questions, as you can see, so I'm going to go ahead and take them off the screen right now and just read them myself and answer them myself so you can see the actual raid. So he says, Ash, thanks for doing this. What is the point of preparation day if you can't scout bases? Well, it's a good question, right? So a lot of people have been asking why even have preparation day? And I think the answer is twofold. You can still scout bases, however, you can't scout the CC troops. I know that's a feature that a lot of our clans use to try to figure out what is in the enemy's clan castle. But you can go ahead and scout the base and just take a look at the base's strength. That will give you an idea of how many Inferno towers you are up or down, or how many Eagle Artilleries, how many Town Hall 9s, 10s, 8s, whatever you have, versus the other opponent's clan. So it will give you a good picture of the advantage or the disadvantage you might have in that war. Question number 2, would you prefer us to be able to scout and have a 48-hour cooldown or a 24-hour cooldown and no scouting? That one's a pretty easy one in my opinion. I actually think that the 24-hour cooldown is certainly enough. It's already a long time to ask more casual players to wait before they can share a new village in the Friendly Challenge feature. So I'm a big fan of having the 24-hour cooldown versus the 48-hour cooldown and no scouting. So I actually like it the way it is now. Number 3, does the clone spell need changing and housing space and edits to make it more suitable in the game? That's a good question too. I'm actually one of the only YouTubers, because I actually watched everybody's sneak peeks who put them out there, because let's be honest, I'm curious to hear their opinions, and in this case, how they differ from my own. If you guys caught all my sneak peek of videos, you see I use clone in almost all my attacks because I really love the spell. I think it might even be a little bit overpowered. I'm not calling for a nerf, certainly not before we've even seen it in game, but for me, the clone spell seems really super powerful. I mean, think about it. The clone spell can clone up to 35 extra troops. That's really nice. It gives you that extra troop space, but you can dictate as the attacker where those troops come into play. So you can wait till your troops get to the core of the base and then essentially drop your clan castle smack dab in the middle of the base. Now I say clan castle because the clone level progression, meaning the number of troops cloned, it actually correlates to clan castle levels in a way. So it starts out as 20 at level 1, 25 at level 2, 30 at level 3, and 35 at level 4. So in the center of the base, you could clone another golem if you wanted to. You need an extra little firepower, clone another golem. You need some extra DPS, clone a bunch of Valkyries or Bowlers or Wizards. So I think the clone spell is already very powerful and well worth the 4 spell slots. I know I'm in the vast minority there. In fact, I don't think any other YouTuber even mentioned that they thought it was overpowered or even appropriately powered. I think a lot of people were questioning the 4 housing space. So, hey, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but that's my opinion on it. Number 5, how many more sneak peeks can we expect? Well, the sneak peeks are officially over after the release of the Baby Dragon sneak peek and the Minor sneak peek, so we should be expecting an update hopefully very soon this week. Number 6, why are you so awesome? Well, I'll skip that one. I don't think I'm that awesome. Number 7, if Preparation Day was to stay like this, then would it be likely for this feature to be added? And the feature is every player selects which war base clan castle troops they would like to have filled up. Then automatically it gets filled up and nobody has to spend a thing. So essentially Dave and his army is asking, is there a way for the troops to be, the clan castles, excuse me, to be auto-filled and no one has to actually fill them? I don't think we'll see that implemented in the game. I think one of the only reasons that Prep Day is still valuable is to give people time to fill up all those clan castles. So in a way, it actually gives more utility to the Prep Day that is actually seeing less utility because you can't scout their war bases. So I don't think that will be added into the game, even though I'm sure a lot of people would welcome it. Let's go ahead and go on to the next forum question. So Funky Monk asks, if you want to attack a friend's base through the friendly challenge feature a few times, let's say 5, does that person have to be online and press the friendly button challenge 5 times? Or can you just attack him as long as the request is visible in the chat? Maybe make this suggestion if that's not the case, because you might want to practice an attack style a few times and the other person may not be able to be online all the time, and you don't want to have to keep spamming them. So it's a great question, and unfortunately the answer is the other person does indeed have to put up their base in the friendly challenge mode in the chat every single time you want to attack it. So when you, actually in one of my, and I think in the Baby Dragon sneak peek, I included a visual of what the friendly challenge actually looks like, the entire process in-game. So basically it kind of acts like a clan castle request when it disappears, when it's done, when it's over. So the person sending out the challenge will go ahead and you can put a comment, you can put, you know, whoever you might want to accept the challenge, or you can put what type of base or why you're sending the challenge. You have a text spot similar to the way that the clan castle request works. Now, once somebody accepts the challenge, there is obviously the attack period up to 3 minutes and 30 seconds where people can actually live spectate, and then once the attack is over, the attacker gets all their troops back, refunded. It happens immediately. You basically go back to an untouched camp. The defending clan castle troops are replenished, and then the challenge goes away. So that's how it works. I'm not sure if they're going to go ahead and institute an unlimited attack feature. However, I do think that they are going to expand upon the friendly challenge feature. I've heard all kinds of really cool ideas from the development team, so we'll have to see and wait and see what actually makes it in-game, but I am pretty confident that some really cool add-ons and elaborations, I guess, are coming on the friendly challenge feature. Let's go ahead and move on to our next question. So Bob Soul asks, if you drop a clone spell on already cloned troops, will it re-clone and double them? And the answer to that is yes, it will. Anything in the clone radius will indeed be cloned, except for heroes and obviously for other spells, with the exception of the skeleton spell, which will indeed be cloned the skeleton spawned. The second question he asks is, will the prep day have any use other than filling clan castles and seeing how strong the opponent is? And the answer is no, not that I can think of off the top of my head. And number 3, will they revert the prep day and set it so you can only practice on an edited base after 48 hours? I don't think so. I think they're pretty happy with the adjustment that they made regarding the prep day, how you can't scout the opponent's war base, but you can go ahead and see its strength, and I think they're very happy with the 24-hour cooldown, so I don't think it will be edited or changed to 48 hours, excuse me. I think that's going to be pretty much locked in terms of the duration of prep and war day and the cooldown period. Let's move on to the next question here by Raptor's Sleeve. He says a lot of people are suggesting that the main use for the skeleton spell will be for the CC lure and not much else. What other uses do you envisage for this spell based on what you have seen so far? I wonder whether it could be used to take out an air defense instead of Zap Quake. Well, that's a great question. First of all, to address the second part of the question, you actually nailed it right there. I tested it out on many different base designs, and using 4 maxed out skeleton spells, so basically 4 spell slots, you can take out a maxed air defense even if there's a wizard tower adjacent to that max air defense. So essentially you can save 1 spell slot instead of having to use 2 lightnings and 1 earthquake. So that is one use right there. And additionally to that, I think that the main use for it is going to be for distraction. Now, I don't think at this time that the skeleton spell is going to be used to lure CC troops. I think they got rid of that, and I'm not able to confirm that right now 100%. I did ask ask the Clash team, but I have not received an answer at the time of this recording. However, when I do receive a final answer on that, I will go ahead and put that in the description to this video. But I am pretty confident that when the update comes, the skeleton spell will not be able to be used to lure clan castle troops, because that is the case right now with the updated build that we have access to. However, that might lead somebody to comment that, hey, I don't see any use for this spell anymore. Well, beyond just taking out a max air defense with 1 or 4 of them, or even 2 air defenses with 8 of them if you want to do so, well, you can actually do many other things with a skeleton spell. Number 1 is, in a real pinch, if you use it as your 12th or 10th spell, depending on what town hall level you are, you can use it for cleanup. I mean, it does summon, what is it, like 14 skeletons? I don't have the numbers right in front of me. You can take a look at the sneak peek video if you want to actually find out the exact stats on that. But it summons a lot of skeletons, so you can use that as cleanup if there's only a few units left on the board and the skeletons have high enough DPS where they actually do quick work. So that's one usage, but mainly you can use it to distract defenses. If you want to go ahead and go do a Go La Loon, for example, or a Go Ho type attack, what you can do is, once the balloons or the hogs get in range of the splash damage of the wizard towers mainly, what you can do is drop the skeleton spell in the opposite direction, and those skeletons will actually occupy that splash damage long enough for those hogs or those balloons to move on and actually not have to even deal with that wizard tower. You can do the same thing for mortars if you want to, if you're doing some sort of a Valkyrie attack or something where you want to distract those mortars for a indefinite amount of time. So that's another usage. You can use it for something as simple as distracting any kind of defense for wall breakers. So if there's a mortar around, or if there's a wizard tower that's bordering the perimeter of a wall on a village, what you can do is, and I actually showed this on my sneak peek video, you can put the skeleton spell inside the base and then immediately drop those wall breakers, and the skeletons will stay alive for about 2 or 3 shots by that wizard tower, which will be plenty of time to get those wall breakers on and get into a base in an area where previously, without the skeleton spell, you would not have been able to. So I do see some uses for the skeleton spell beyond just the CC lure, which I don't think is going to be able to actually happen anymore in the game once it goes live. We'll have to wait and see. Let's move on to the next question. Xander asks, clone spells, really 4 spots? Yes, indeed, it does take up 4 housing spaces for the spell factory. And skeleton spell drags CC, as I just discussed, not sure that's going to be the case when the update goes live. Question number 3, are the tournament standards for friendly challenge? Well, that's a great question, and the answer right now is no, but maybe we'll see that added to the game. Number 4, do you have to use all buildings in order to attack a layout as a friendly challenge? Well, as the defender, you do have to share one of your bases, so you do have to use all the buildings as the defender, the person issuing the challenge, and as the attacker, you do have the option of using some of your troops, or none of your troops, or all of your troops, but none of them are expended. His next question, are the stats on the skeletons spell skeletons? Are they as strong as witches? Good question. I think the stats are actually provided in that episode. Okay, do clone spells clone clones indefinitely? I think what he's asking there is, do the cloned units last forever? And the answer is no. They last around 15 to 17 seconds, regardless of if it's a cloned unit for the first time or a clone of a clone. They still last for about 15 to 17 seconds. Can you clone CC troops? That's a good question, and the answer is yes. So essentially, as a Town Hall 10, you could clone, say, level 4 Lava Hounds, or you could clone level 3 Witches, or level 4 Bowlers. That would be an excellent use, especially as a Town Hall 10 use of the clone spell. Just make sure you drop those troops first, because that's what dictates the order of the cloned units. Whatever troops were dropped on the map first will have priority when they touch that clone spell radius. Okay, next question. How long does a clone spell stay on the battlefield? Does it disappear after a time? And what's the max capacity cloning is filled? Well, the max capacity is 35 troops for the max level 4 clone spell, and the clone spell itself does stay on the battlefield similar to the time of a rage spell. Actually, I don't know the exact answer to that. Let me go ahead and time it and come right back.
One moment, please.
Alright, so the answer to that last question is 15 to 17 seconds. I timed it at 16.2 seconds for the spell duration as well as the hologram duration or the cloned unit duration, so they appear to share the similar statistics there. Let's move on to the next question. So Jeeb16 says, firstly, Ash, I think it's great that you're utilizing the forums to put out these videos. Lots of untapped potential here other YouTubers should use more often. Well, thank you, Jeebs. My question is regarding the build for friendly challenges. My understanding is that you still need to build the army and have it ready to attack just like you would in a farming raid. The issue I see here is that most people aren't going to be using, say, a Gola Loon or a Govaho for farming, although these are the types of builds that will be testing the clanmates' war bases or general practice. So this is going to put a little hindrance on farming runs and just waste resources on heavy DE builds. Do you see any problems with allowing users to queue up armies specifically for friendly challenges without having to actually build them? Maybe once you click the friendly challenge button, there is a screen where you can create and build and then just attack. Once again, thanks for doing this. So that's a great question, right? And I actually think it's a great idea by Jeebs. As long as the army still costs you the resources, I don't see any reason why you couldn't have a separate queue for your friendly challenge troops. And then you can go ahead and alter those if you want to, but I still think it's important to make sure that that army does cost resources, but it'd be cool if you had a different troop selection and maybe preset troops that you just had the cost right there, so you knew how much it was going to cost you. You click the button and that whole army is built for you instantly, but it does cost the resources and you can only use it in friendly challenges. That way it couldn't be abused for farming purposes. So I actually really like that idea, and like I said earlier, the Clash team is looking to expand upon this new friendly challenge feature, so maybe this is one of the ideas that they'll look at. Maybe not this exact idea, but maybe something similar to it to make it a little bit easier for people who are mainly farming to still be able to build and practice war attacks at the same time. Okay, now wrapping things up here, XWizX asks, hey Ash, thanks for doing this. From my understanding, the way the friendly challenge works is that a player chooses any one of his 6 layouts that they wish to offer to the clan chat to be challenged. Of course, for the friendly challenge to be effective war practice, the attacker would have to scout the base in advance so they can build the army specific to that base. My question is, how would we view the layout as the defender is going to offer, to be challenged so that we can plan for it? Thanks in advance for your clarification. Well, this is a nice easy one, and the answer is you're able to scout from that friendly challenge request. So right in that chat, you can see the revamped chat in my Baby Dragon video, and you'll see that there's all kinds of new buttons there. You can request troops right from your clan chat area, you can look at your clan tab right from the clan chat area, and you can also send out a friendly challenge. Once you do so, your clanmates will be able to scout the base and go ahead and plan an attack, and then finally accept the challenge, and they'll be transported to the base, very similar to a clan war attack on battle day where you can scout beforehand and then attack right afterwards. So guys, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much to all the forum people for asking all those great questions. I hope it helped a lot of you out, maybe clarified some things you guys were curious about, or maybe answered something you hadn't even thought of before. And again, another huge shout out to my clan, Red Elite, for providing these replays, and especially for my Patreon clans, Talladega Knights, the Heisenberglers, and said she was level 18. They're all a bunch of great guys. I hope you guys find a happy home in one of their clans if that's what you're looking for. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Can't wait for the update, and as always, take care, guys.